Denise Welch has taken to social media, unleashing a blistering attack against the government after it emerged Matt Hancock breached coronavirus restrictions. Television presenter Denise Welch has been left in fits of rage following the news that Boris Johnson has closed the discussion around Matt Hancock's coronavirus breach. Yesterday, it emerged that Mr. Hancock had hugged and kissed an aide, despite social distancing guidelines being in place. Loose Women host Denise Welch is never one to shy away when it comes to sharing her thoughts, and her latest social media post is certainly no different. The Newcastle-born actress, 63, has openly spoken out against the government's decision to impose restrictions on Brits, despite the number of COVID patients drastically decreasing. Denise has previously spoken out, admitting that she removed herself from Twitter after she was labelled a coronavirus denier, something she vehemently denies. Her latest post comes after Downing Street officials said that Prime Minister Boris Johnson accepts Mr. Hancock's apology following the revelation he appeared to be engaging in an affair. In view of her 244,000 Instagram followers, in a candid video post, Denise said, "For Boris Johnson to say Matt Hancock has apologized for breaking social distancing rules and this matter is closed, how FG dare you say this matter is closed? This man who has enforced the rules of social distancing like no other, who had got it to the point where I, 2 weeks ago, was not allowed to travel in an ambulance with my terrified father who was being moved between hospitals at 84 years old." The mum of two continued, when my dad first went into the hospital, 13 weeks ago, for 3 weeks, my sister and I were not allowed into that particular hospital where there was no COVID. We were happy to take 1 million tests before we went in. She added, "Last week we saw Royal Ascot going on. This week we saw nobody being allowed to go and celebrate their children's sports day. It's got to stop." The fact that Boris Johnson said yesterday Matt Hancock has apologized for breaking social distancing rules and this matter is closed, this for me, shows in one sentence, the disdain these people have for us, the regular Joes. They talk about saving our lives. They're ruining our lives. Earlier this week, she said, "I've tried to call out this hypocrisy for over a year. I came off Twitter as I was called a COVID denier. Nothing could be further from the truth, but I knew this would happen. I saw the utter hypocrisy when the government allowed a clap for carers to become a weekly carnival with emergency services lining the streets with their sirens blaring, karaoke and wine parties, nurses gathering outside hugging, bridges full of people clapping." The Hollyoaks actress went on to ask why there had not been more debates over the government's handling of the COVID outbreak. She continued, "Why has there been zero transparency? During Brexit, remember that, there were nightly debates, but with COVID, nothing. People's voices silenced if they dared ask any questions. NHS workers, I've spent 10 weeks amongst them, not allowed to speak out about anything." Denise, who is now double vaccinated, said she wanted her freedom back. She continued, "The NHS is in a mess. It has been for years and we are told that we have to save it. We don't. They have to save us, but the communication system within it is completely and utterly broken, and that is the fault of the trust bosses, no one else. This has to stop. We need to be given our freedom back. I've had my 2 vaccinations and I will make my own decisions about the risks I take. They have no right to continue to control us and let football rule the FG world."